What's up, y'all? It's Miles the Millennial.
And it's your boy Rex Howard Jr.
And this is Let's Talk Like Men, the podcast where we have real conversations about real topics, giving real advice to men like you everywhere. And we're back again with another episode. Man, I'm so excited. Brother Rex, how are you doing, man?
Man, I'm blessed, highly favored. I can't complain, man. Life has uh, been so good
That's good,
in the
man.
last month and a half. So much has happened since we haven't been actually at the studio.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm feeling good about you.
Man, I'm feeling blessed as well, bro. You know, God is teaching me so many things. And around every single corner, I'm taught that, you can't get comfortable in your journey with Him. It's,
100%.
it's it's easy when you get to one breakthrough spiritually to then lay down and get comfortable and feel like, oh, I'm good to go. But life will continue to challenge you.
Yeah.
And if you're not continuing to try and cultivate and go deeper in your relationship with God, you'll find yourself stagnant. So I'm pushing through to that next breakthrough now, man.
Man, that's amazing. So it's been, they don't know this,
Yeah,
but it's been a minute since we've been in the studio.
absolutely.
And what's been happening in your world?
Man, speaking engagements have been going well, bro. A lot of planning for things in my life have been going well. There's been some tragedy that's happened around me, but just being there for people that I love and showing up for people that I love has been there. And just family time, bro. Like genuinely finding ways to take advantage of the time that I have with the people I love because you truly never know when it's going to be over. And God has just, been a blessing and a covering over me in this time period and a covering over my family. And I'm just grateful, man.
Man,
Truly.
definitely good to hear that.
I need
Same.
to hear about you, bro, because you went on a whole tour. Y'all don't know. If you don't follow Rex, Rex did his Fisher Mentor and
Yeah.
took over all of Tennessee. You gotta tell people about it, man.
Man, so yeah, the tour went absolutely amazing. Decided to do a 3 day, 3 city tour.
Mm-hmm.
All the places that poured into me. So Knoxville was the first stop. Chattanooga was the second stop because I went to college there for like 6 years. And then Tennessee State University was the final stop because I started my journey there
Mm-hmm.
for 2 years of college. Um, Absolutely amazing. 65 guys.
Wow.
Uh, were in the room in these spaces. We sold merch. I released my Fisher of Men, which y'all haven't seen yet. But it'll be coming out
I
soon
can't wait
for
for
the
that.
public. So I mean, released that. Did over $2,000 in sales.
That's amazing, man.
God was definitely in the room. There's a lot of brothers that were healed, a lot of brothers that was transformed, and so many brothers said, "Rex, I didn't know what this event was, but I'm just so happy that I was able to be here. This
Over
is the
there.
best thing I've ever had." So that went great. My lady got back from her tour, not tour, from her contract in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been venue shopping for
Mm-hmm.
the wedding venues.
Mm-hmm.
We've been house shopping for our next location we're moving into in September. We almost got a new dog, but she decided to cancel, and the lady was giving her a Yorkie poo.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so we almost got a new dog. But amongst all those things, God put in my heart to host a conference at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So something that y'all stay tuned for. But just know December in Houston, Texas, we're looking for
It's going down.
a conference. So more details to come with that.
Man, that's exciting to hear, bro. That really is exciting to hear. Just seeing what you did and how you stepped out on faith in that was definitely a true testament and inspired me too, man. So, um, God is pleased by your faith in Him,
I appreciate that, big
right?
guy,
The
too.
Bible tells us that that's the only way you can please God is through your faith in Him. So I think that's an amazing thing to witness, and that you're bearing good fruit.
Yes, sir.
Um, Before we hop into the main topic for today, guys, if you are listening to this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere that's not YouTube, we ask for you to do us a big favor. We are so close to our goal of getting monetized on YouTube, guys, and we need our watch hours to go up a little bit. And so, if we were able to get all of you that listen on podcasts to move over to YouTube really quick and just watch like this episode or maybe a previous episode. Go find your favorite one or two episodes. Just put it on. Even if you don't listen to the whole thing, just play it for us while you're laying down. You can turn the volume down, get our watch time up because if you guys help us with this, we'll be able to be monetized and be able to bring you even more things that are going to pour into you and be able to help us grow this platform. So we're just asking that if you're watching on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any other podcast platform, that you pause right now, you jump over to YouTube at Let's Talk Like Men podcast, and you go and watch this episode on there, and then go check out a few more of them and send it to your people.
Yeah, and the last thing we want to ask is that whatever platform you do watch it on, like it,
Yeah.
drop a comment,
Yep. Leave a review.
and leave a review. That's one thing we never asked for, but if you can leave a review, it could also boost up our podcast as well.
Absolutely, guys. We pour a lot into you guys. This is the only thing we're asking for you. So please just help us out in this way. And much love to you. Now,
Absolutely.
let's get into this conversation for today. This
Let's
is
do
going to
it.
be a really good and real powerful episode. If I remember correctly, I think we're on episode 53. And where we're at right now is in a space that I think is so perfect for what's going on in our life
Yep.
because we're having to exhibit faith.
Yep.
We're having to step out in risky and dangerous environments and having to trust in the Lord in things. But the thing is, your safety nets can hold you back from going into those places where you need some faith, right? And Rex, you came up with this topic and talking about safety nets, and that's what today's episode is going to be about. So,
Yep.
Rex, give us a quick rundown on why this topic is so important, and then we're going to hop into our conversation.
Absolutely, man. You think about a safety net, that's something that's going to catch you before you fall, right? And a lot of us, we won't move if we feel too safe. We won't move if we're too comfortable. We won't start that business. We won't move to that different city. We won't go back to school because what we're doing is we're content in. So if we remove our safety nets, we can push past the fear, we can push past anxiety, we can push past the worry, and we can step into the life that God has called us to step into. Yes, it will be scary. Yes, it's going to be nerve wracking. Yes, you may not have all the answers, but we were never meant to be content. We were never meant to be complacent. We're never meant to have safety nets. So
Yeah.
that's why this episode is important.
I love that, man. If you're going to be a real believer, if you're going to be a leader, if you're going to be a change maker, if you're going to be a curse breaker, you're going to have to be the one that steps outside of that safety net and takes some risks. So, without further ado, man,
Let's
hey,
talk
let's talk
like
like
men.
men. So, coming into our first point, Rex, do you want to go first or me?
Go ahead, start. I'll be done.
Okay, so my first point about safety nets, and one of the biggest safety nets that gets in the way of things is money, man. Money can be a safety net that prevents you, in particular, from pursuing your purpose. So, me personally, um, I asked the Lord to reveal to me back in 2020 what my purpose was, like what He wants me to be doing. What is the gift, the talent that you want me to put to use, and how do you want me to do it? And the Lord revealed it to me, man, just through divine revelation, man, that He wanted me to be using my voice and my words to impact people and to change people's lives. I had already been doing it with friends and family, just in natural conversations, giving advice, going and speaking in competitions, but I had never seen it as my future, my career, my purpose. I had never seen it like that. It was just something I was good at. And the Lord revealed that to me in 2020 that He wanted me to start speaking. And I pursued that and I chased that. And I went really hard at it for about 2 years. And in the midst of that time period, my money wasn't at the best point yet. I wasn't making, I wasn't a high earning person yet. I was just getting started in my 9 to 5 career field as a project manager. But over time, what started to happen was as my speaking career was taking off, so was my 9 to 5 career. And my 9 to 5 career was paying really well. At a certain point, I was 23, 24 years old, and I was making 6 figures at that young of an age, man. And that money was very comforting. I can't even lie to you. I could take that money and invest it in different things. I bought a house out there. I was putting money in my stock portfolio. I was helping everybody with their finances. It was a very comfortable place to be, to know that I had money sitting in the bank and that I could withstand a lot of different storms. But what I also started to do was forsake and get scared of my purpose and my calling that God had put on my life. And I kept telling myself, oh man, I'll be all right. This money gonna hold me over. I can take a break from speaking. I don't have to pursue it. It can happen over time because this money is here. I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Until it got to a point to where the career in my 9 to 5 started to take over the purpose. I started chasing the profit in the job over the purpose that God had put in my life because it felt safe to just stay there and not have to take the risk of entrepreneurship and trying to figure out how I'm gonna pay bills on my own without the comfort of a job. And it just got to a point, bro, to where I had to leap, bro, where God had to intervene and quite literally say, like, you have to choose. Because if you don't choose now, if you don't get right with what I told you to do and go move towards what I told you to do, and you keep staying comfortable, you're going to lose out on the opportunity that I have for you.
Absolutely.
I'm giving it to you. It's right here in front of you for you to take the leap, but you're too afraid. You want to stay safe, and I need you to get risky. I need you to have some faith. You can't have faith if you always feel like you're in the safest situation. Faith can only be shown in circumstances where you have doubt. It can only truly be exhibited in circumstances where there's uncertainty. And I had to leap, bro.
Man, so what you're saying is you went to school, you worked hard while you was in school, you built some connections, you went to an internship. After internship, you accepted for a job. Job was paying you so well,
Mm-hmm.
more money than you ever made. You're
Mm-hmm.
able to bless yourself. You're able to bless the people around you. You're able to give. You're able to invest into certain things, and then God told you to move.
Yeah, quite literally. Quite literally. Got to the point to where God was like, yeah, yeah, my work was deteriorating. My work product at the company was deteriorating because inside I knew
Right.
that I wasn't supposed to be there. It was bleeding into my work and I couldn't hide it anymore. I came to work anxious and depressed and just miserable every day, putting on a smile.
Yeah.
But I didn't have the motivation or the vigor or the discipline inside me to stick with that because I didn't want to stick with it.
Yeah.
I was tired of it. And I tried to hide it as long as possible until I was literally sitting in a work meeting. And God came in the middle of that work meeting. I'm breaking down in tears in front of my manager, who I thought I'd never cry in front of. I ain't crying in front of people in corporate. What you mean?
Yeah.
This ain't a safe place. And I'm crying in front of them because of everything that's going on inside of me, inside my head at that moment. And I hear God say, move, move, clear as day. And I knew what he meant. Go move towards that purpose. Go get risky. Go believe in me.
Yeah.
Trust in me. You want this? Okay, it's gonna take some sacrifice. It's gonna take some money. I lost all that money in pursuing what I'm doing now, but it's been so worth it. And the impact that I've had has produced income,
Yeah.
has produced a level of confidence in me, and has produced so much more resistance to the sufferings that you're gonna face in life. It's made me a stronger man. It's made me a better man. It's made me a man of God. I wasn't listening to God before then, but now I am.
So let me ask you this: do you think it's possible for a man to remove his safety net without faith, or without having a belief in the higher power that he can become and he can do something greater than where he currently is?
I don't think it's possible because it goes against the basic idea of human, survival. It goes against your safety instinct, right? To protect yourself. The only reason you would remove something that's comfortable and safe for you is if you have faith that what you're about to go pursue is going to be better for you in the long run than what is keeping you comfortable and where you're at right now.
That's good.
I don't think it's possible for you to take a leap without having faith, right? Well, why would you jump if
Right.
you didn't believe that somehow, some way, no matter what I'm going to bump my head on, I'm going to make it through this,
Yeah.
right? And so you have to have faith. And it can't be faith just in yourself because you've proven that you can make mistakes. You've proven that you can fail on yourself. You've proven that you can give up. But God is the one thing that has never failed you and never forsaken you. So absolutely, I don't think it's possible for you to remove a safety net if you don't have the belief that there's going to be an even better form of safety
Yeah.
that's going to hold you through it, and that's God.
That's good. My last question for you is: how important is relationships in the process of jumping out on faith and moving from one location to the next? Because I know that that made you lean more on your family during that
Yeah.
time too.
Yeah.
So how important is relationships or maintaining healthy relationships in the process or transition of you making different moves?
It's extremely important. One of the main reasons that I was able to even get a jump start on pursuing speaking was because of the relationships that I had, one in my fraternity, right? Reaching out to my pro fights and my big bros that were very knowledgeable and financially savvy and business minded people and asking, like, bro, this is what I want to do, but I don't have no idea how to start.
Yeah.
And they were able to give me a blueprint, like, this is where you can start. This is what will give you credibility.
Yep.
Ended up leading to my best selling book,
Yep.
right? Maintaining, love within my family, right? And having a level of connection with people and also just with the people that I met through my time working in corporate. Some of those people have been some of the main people that have poured into and given me opportunities. Corporate taught me a lot of things that I've been able to transition, but the relationships were everything because I also believe that you can't do it on your own. You need people that are able to support you. You need people that are able to pour into you when you feel down. You need people that see what you see, that can see that vision and say, you know what, I'm rocking with you. I get where you're going. The old saying is, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you
Yeah.
want to go far, go together, right? And so you need other people on your journey if you're going to actually do something that's meaningful.
That's good.
Yeah.
And
So
that's
what's
really
your
good.
point number one?
Man, so my point number one: a lack of wisdom or knowledge can be a safety net,
Mm.
right? It prevents us from taking action because we just don't know what's next or what's available, right? So, perfect example. And I remember being in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I met a lot of different people. But one particular brother, uh, his name was Jalen, became a frat brother of mine too. He loved kicking it with me, right? I I gave him a job with the valet company. We used to kick it with each other outside of classes, and he hung out with me during my Rexford stuff. But he was from Chattanooga, born and raised, but never stepped outside of Chattanooga. So I remember when I took the journey and I decided that I was going to be moving from Knoxville to Houston. Before I made that leap, I did a 2-day trip to Texas. I took him with me, and I took another guy with me, brother named Damo. So during this trip, I said, you know what? Since these brothers haven't really had these many opportunities, every major city or state we're going to stop. So we stopped in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, so they can see the stadium. We stopped in LSU, Baton Rouge, so they can see that. We stopped in all these different locations, and it's almost like I could see their minds expanding in the midst of that. They're like, oh man, this is what's out here. These are my opportunities. This is what I have access to. So as we're having conversations, I'm telling you, exposure leads to expansion. We're just seeing a whole bunch of different things. Now that same brother, he has a job that allows him to travel to a different state every 3 months.
Wow.
And he's always out of the country. He's
Yeah.
always making moves. So that safety net for him was, bro, I'm from Chattanooga, Tennessee. We don't leave Chattanooga.
Yeah.
Don't nobody go nowhere. We might go down to Knoxville or we may hit Nashville,
Yeah.
but we're not going to a different state.
Yeah.
But because he was willing to let go of that safety net, he accepted his first job in Kansas City.
Yeah.
And then he's been bouncing around ever since then. And he's out of the country right now. So that's how, a lack of wisdom and knowledge can be a safety net.
Man, so when I hear you say that, what comes to mind and if I could wrap that up, is you saying like ignorance and a lack of wisdom, it can keep you comfortable,
Yeah.
but it will get in the way of growth.
100%. So let me break it down even further because I'm not even sure if I hit on it. If I stay in the same place that I've always been, I hang around the same people that I've always been around, that means I'm having the same conversation that I've always had. There's no growth in that. There's no wisdom in that. You're not being pushed by anything in that, right? Nobody is expecting you to travel because none of them are traveling. Nobody's expecting you to go get a master's or get a doctorate because majority of them probably just graduated high school and that's about it. So if I'm not growing on a day-to-day basis, I'm not seeking new wisdom, I'm not taking heed to any new advice or putting myself around people that can expose me to new stuff, then I'm going to stay in the same space.
Do you think that when you went to Tennessee State, that's what expanded your mind beyond, Lawndale, or was it
Lines that don't be
Lonsdale? My fault, man. My fault.
What 100%.
Yeah.
College definitely did it for me, but I felt ignorant to the fact that I didn't even know Tennessee State was a HBCU.
Yeah.
I pulled up on campus and I'm just like, man, it's different,
Yeah.
right?
All these black people come from.
So and mind you, if we had to compare high school to a college, my high school was like a PWI,
Got you.
right? So ended up going to Tennessee State, but you get to I was exposed to all these different organizations. I was exposed to different kind of mentors that's traveled. I was exposed to different kind of people that make different kind of money. I was exposed to true entrepreneurship. And it opened up my mind like, wow, these are my possibilities. This is who I can become. Another thing that I was exposed to is people that saw something in me that I never saw myself.
Yeah.
And that extra belief in me gave me the confidence to step and do more. So
Yeah.
that's what helped me.
I can relate to that so much, bro. Because when I left and I was deciding where I wanted to go to school, one of the things that I knew was like, high school was cool and all, but high school, it was a lot of being somebody that you never really were.
Yep.
Trying to fit in, trying to be accepted. Everybody is kind of chasing those same things. We're
Yep.
trying to find ourselves from an acceptance perspective in high school. College is an opportunity to redefine yourself.
Yep.
And that was a big thing for me, that like, bro, I want to redefine myself. When I get here to college, wherever I go, I want to go somewhere where I can become a new version of myself, and I'm not held to who people think I am or to what people believe I am from the last 4, 8, 12 years of going to school with the same people.
Yep.
I want to redefine myself. Who does Miles want to be now at 18 for the next, the rest of his life? Who does he want to be? And I wanted to stand out. I wanted to be somebody that was proud of my intelligence instead of trying to hide it. I wanted to be somebody that was confident in the way that I talked and moved. And one of the main reasons why I chose to go to FIST was because when I went there, I saw an opportunity where I could stand out.
Yeah.
I saw an opportunity where everybody here prides themselves in being intelligent. I saw a place where people prided themselves in being a community where they actually knew each other.
Yes, sir.
And that changed everything for me. And I said, you know what? I'm not staying near Houston. I'm not gonna stay comfortable and go to college right around here where all the rest of my friends and family and people are going. I'm not doing that. I need to expand my horizons. And so if I'm not going far across Texas, I'm leaving Texas. I'm going somewhere else. I
100%.
don't want to be close to home because I knew that staying close to home also kept my mind very close to where it always had been. And I
100%.
needed a new exposure. So I love what you said there, bro.
Safety net. That's
Yeah,
good.
bro.
What you got for point number two, brother?
Man, another safety net is validation.
Mm.
Um, and primarily when I speak of validation from a like a perspective of a man, bro, is that validation that you want from a bunch of women.
Mm.
That validation that you want from a bunch of men by being that guy, being the player, being the playboy. You know what I'm saying? That stuff can keep you very, very limited because you will always be seeking the next thrill. You'll always be seeking the next woman to come into the rotation. You'll always be keeping your energy, your focus on all managing all these different circumstances with these women that you have going on. You'll never be seeking your wife. You'll never be seeking your favor. You'll never be seeking somebody that's actually going to pour into your purpose and make you a better individual, right? And so it's a safety net because that validation feels good.
Yeah.
Having all those women around make you feel like the man.
Yeah.
And having your boys say, man, ain't nobody like Miles out here. He
Yeah.
moving and grooving. And Rex a different breed,
Yeah.
right? That stuff feels good for your identity, but it's rooted in something that will never grow you. It's rooted in something that will never get you favor. It's rooted in something that after a while, that's going to run out and that's not going to be enough.
Yeah.
And you're going to look back on life and you're going to be regretting how much time you wasted
Yeah.
chasing women.
Yeah.
Right. And I think about Proverbs 31:3 says, do not spend your strength on women or your vigor on things that ruin kings.
Yeah.
Right. Versus Proverbs 31:30 says, charm is deceptive
Yeah.
and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord
Yeah.
is to be praised.
Absolutely.
Right. You're talking about in the same chapter, they're letting you know the difference,
Yeah.
right? You're getting this wisdom, and it's telling you that chasing these women is going to ruin you. It has ruined many a men before you.
Yeah.
That validation that you're seeking from this woman cannot fulfill you and cannot sustain you.
Yeah.
But when you get right with God, when you find a woman who fears God, when you find your wife, when you find your favor, and you treat that right, and you love that woman like Christ loved the church, and when you're moving in a way that a righteous man should be moving, see, then you found something special. Then you found something that's going to change your life and grow you. But so long as you're seeking this validation, so long as you're falling on that safety net of feeling like the man, with all these women having to be the ones that prop you up,
Yeah.
you're on shaky foundation. It's a house built on sand.
Man. And it's so crazy. So I'm doing a Proverbs challenge with my guys. And I was reading Proverbs 2. And it says, wisdom will save you from the adulterous woman. Right? From the wayward woman with her seductive words, who who has left the partner of her youth and ignored the covenant she made from God. Surely her house leads down to death, and her paths to the spirits of the dead. None who go to her return or attain the same paths of life. Right. And it's so interesting because today we had a conversation about what's something that you need to let go of that you know is holding you back. Right. And one of the guys said validation. And he was like, validation from the people that I'm pouring into, validation from my bosses, validation from the women that I'm dealing with. It makes me feel good. But anytime, when I told him, anytime you put validation in somebody's hands,
Yes.
right, you can be led to disappointment. And even if you don't believe what they're pouring into you, if they say it enough, you will start to believe it.
Yeah.
So the women from your past may make you be like you're the man. You do everything great. You're a provider. You're a protector. You're the best man out there. The next three women may pour something completely different into you, right, to change your whole internal world.
Yeah.
So before I say the next thing I'm going to say, I want to know from your perspective, how does a man work towards releasing the safety net of needing validation from the world?
That's a loaded question, bro. And there's a lot of steps to it. But first, you're gonna have to. Mine came through therapy when it was identified to me. But whether you're going to therapy or not, I'm gonna tell you the basis of what you got to do. First, you got to identify that the place that you're seeking validation from is not sustainable. It doesn't actually bear the fruit that you want. If you don't make that up in your mind, none of the rest of this matters.
Yep.
If you think that that stuff is good enough and that it's okay and that it'll sustain me and I'll be all right. You know, what I hear from these girls, you know, that feel good when they tell me I'm the man, when I lay it down and I'm the best they ever had and I'm the man of their dreams. Yeah, all that stuff is good enough for me. That's all I need. I can get my fix. So long as you still think that that's enough and it can hold you and it can take you where you want to go, you'll never make the change that needs to be made. And sometimes you're going to have to fall flat on your face. Sometimes you're going to have to make some big mistakes. Sometimes you're going to have to lose that woman that was good for you because you was outside cheating. Sometimes you're going to have to get that girl pregnant that didn't need to get pregnant. Why? Because you had to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
Some men, that's the only way we gonna learn.
Yeah.
You may not have the grace over your life in that moment that keeps you from that big mistake. Sometimes God gonna let you learn, right? He ain't gonna save you from it. He gonna let you go through the storm.
Yep.
So first thing is you got to accept that that's not sustainable. The second thing you're going to have to do is then identify what is it that I really want? How do I really want to feel?
Yeah.
I want to be able to be internally motivated. I want to be able to receive validation from a source that actually is going to always be there, going to be consistent and present, and doesn't require man to give it to me. So then that's going to point you to really one option,
Yeah.
which is going to be the Lord,
Yeah.
right? Now, once you realize that the Lord is going to be the source of your validation and the source of your strength, now you have to say, okay, how does the Lord tell me to live?
Yep.
How does the Lord instruct me to receive what I need and gain strength from him, right? And you start living like a righteous man. You start making decisions that reflect your submission and obedience to God. In that, you'll stop chasing these women. You'll stop watching that pornography. You'll stop doing all these things that give you that quick fix. You stop going to these clubs, tricking off on these women, buying these bottles, just so you can feel like that guy. So they can record you on the cameras with your shades on and you, yeah, that's me. I'm him. I pop them bottles. I'm that guy.
Thanks.
It's vanity and it's not worth anything, man. You making piss poor decisions, bro. You're doing things that don't lead to any sustainability just so you can feel good in a moment. You'll start making decisions that are better for you in the long term because you're not seeking validation for what feels good in the moment. You're seeking what's going to be pleasing when you get to the end of your journey and the Lord can sit there and say, well done. That's what you're chasing.
Yeah.
That's the validation that I want, is that when I wake up in the morning, I go throughout my day, what I'm doing, I can sit in front of the Lord and I don't have to feel that shame in my heart. Even though the Lord, is not ashamed of me and doesn't give me condemnation. I understand that. But as a human, you may feel that. I don't want to feel that.
Yeah.
And so my validation got to come from a source that's higher.
Man, and to add to that, because everything you said was absolutely amazing, you got to look and see, what does God say about you,
Oh, yes.
right?
Yes.
The fact that he said, let us make man in our image and our likeness, right? Which means if God is creative, if God is mighty, if God is strong, if God is able to do all these different type of things, and then he says, not only am I can do it, but you can do those things, and if not even greater.
Yeah.
And you got to realize that God also said, you are the head and not the tail.
Yes.
You are above and not beneath, right? You are royal priesthood,
Yes.
right? You're a chosen nation.
Yes.
So if this is what the Creator is saying about me, then in order for me to believe something about myself, I have to study the person that created me.
Yeah.
But
That's
if
good.
but if I'm expecting validation to come from people that didn't make me, people that didn't birth me, people that have the ability to be good on one day and be bad the next day, then I'm giving them way too much responsibility.
Yeah.
I'm going to set myself up for disappointment every single time.
Yeah.
But I get it. A lot of times we lack validation if we didn't have a parent that poured into us, if we didn't have a parent or authority figure that took care of us. So we need that validation. We need somebody to tell us, hey, you're doing a great job. Hey, you're a great person. Hey, you're a great father. Hey, outside of Father's Day, you're still an amazing man. We need that. And if we don't get that from the people that are supposed to be pouring into us, and if we don't get that because we're not connected to God, we're going to be seeking it in every other thing.
That's good.
And it's not going to always be good.
That's powerful, bro. That's powerful. I know we limit on time, so I want to go deeper. We're going to go into the next point.
Yes, sir. So, next point is safety net. Relationships can be your safety net, right? Maintaining relationships with people we've outgrown due to comfortability or beliefs that we can't find better, right? Now, mind you, I'm not speaking on marriage.
Yeah.
I'm not speaking on marriage.
Yeah.
Because once you've created that covenant, I believe that you have to maintain that covenant and you got to figure out what it's going to take, right? But when it comes to boyfriend and girlfriend courting relationships, we have history with people that's been there for us. But in the season of life that we're in, we've gone to therapy, we're healing, we're reading books, we're joining new friend groups, we're going to personal development camps, we're doing all these different type of things, but our partner is sitting at home doing nothing.
Yeah.
right? Now you find yourself not able to have a productive conversation because they don't have no value to add to
no
it.
growth.
They don't have no substance to add to it. You can't go kick it with her and her girls because they don't talk about nothing. They just want to party all the time. Now, granted, do I believe partying is necessary sometimes? Yeah, it's always good to celebrate. But what we celebrating?
Yep. What are we doing in our life?
Right? So with that being the case, I've had many conversations with men that say, Rex, I know I want better and I know I can find better, but man, that's just like my best friend, man. Like we done been through so much together. She was there with me, when my mom passed, or she was there with me when so and so happened, or when I didn't have a job, she was there. But the question I'll always ask, is she helping you get closer and closer to your purpose? Is she helping you get closer to Christ? Is she helping you develop and become a better man? Does she help you see something in yourself that you don't even see in yourself? Right? Is she a sense of peace? Can you go to her to restore? Can you go to her to learn? Can you ask her a question? Do you trust her advice? When she uses her discernment, have you ever applied it and did it work out for you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And if you can't answer anything positive to none of those questions, then you know that this relationship is a safety net.
You're just there because it feels good.
'Cause it
You're
feels
just
good.
there because it's familiar. You're just there because of everything you've been through. Y'all got so many trauma bonds to each other. How can we let this go?
How? How?
And the reality is that's not relationships are we are put on this earth to have relations with other people to grow us,
Yep.
to help us develop.
Yeah.
And if somebody is not doing that for you, then they are quite literally getting in the way of who you're trying to become and who you're
100%.
supposed to become.
100%.
They are blocking destiny.
Yep.
Right? They are getting in the way of you being the man that God has called you to be. And people have to take that so much more serious because we'll have people in our life that are detrimental.
Yeah.
We have people in our life that put us in dangerous situations. We have people in our life that try to influence us to do things that are against our morals and our beliefs.
Yeah.
We have people in our life that we will tolerate and that will sit around and that we will entertain and even comfort
Yeah.
when they are of no use to us.
Yep.
They do nothing for us. They take and they destroy everywhere that they go.
Yeah.
But because that's my cousin, because that's my lady, because that's my brother, because that's whatever, we will let them stick around when they have far outstayed their welcome.
100%. And think about this. Proverbs 2:12. Wisdom will save you from the ways of the wicked men, from men whose words are perverse, who have left the straight paths to walk in dark ways, who delight in doing wrong and rejoice in the perverseness of evil, whose paths are crooked and who are devious in their ways.
Bro.
Yeah, it's literally all in the book.
Yep. Solomon wrote Proverbs, right?
Yeah.
Man, look, y'all. Y'all need this wisdom. Y'all better pick up that book, man.
I'm telling you.
Pick up your Bible. Y'all, we done said Proverbs 3 or 4 times
Yeah.
in this episode alone.
Yeah.
I don't have much to say on that. There's a reason. There's a reason y'all should go deeper in.
What you got on your next point, brother?
Man, my next point. Sometimes having a supportive family can be a safety net.
Oof, how so?
And it can keep you comfortable, bro.
Yeah.
Instead of making you ambitious. You see, there's a I think a very good reason why so many of these great success stories we hear come from very, impoverished scenarios, come from very I had to, figure it out on my own. I got thrown out the house when I was 15. All these different things because there's a hunger, there's a necessity that gets ignited in a person when you don't have no backup plan.
Yep.
When you don't have a safety net, when it is this way is the only way or I ain't gonna make it.
Yep.
Right? But when you have supportive family, you kind of always know in the back of your head, I mean, if worse comes to worse, I can always just go home.
Yep.
If worse comes to worse, I can pick up the phone and call mom or dad and they'll put the money on, but they ain't gonna let me get evicted from this apartment. So maybe I don't gotta go to work today. Maybe I don't have to go pursue this sales goal. Maybe I don't have to go get right, in whatever way I need to. Maybe I don't have to hustle as hard.
Yeah.
Maybe I can take these breaks. And the reality is it can make you a very complacent and lazy individual because you know that at the end of the day, I always got family to rely on. And that's not the reason why family's there. Family's not there to be a crutch.
Yeah.
Supportive family is a powerful thing. They're there to be leveraged.
Yeah.
They're there to be there to push you. They're there to be a source of wisdom.
Yeah.
And if things go wrong, of course you can rely on them and fall back on them to help you. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. right? If the Bible says that a good man leaves an inheritance, I believe for what, 3 generations? If okay, then your family's supposed to be there preparing to be able to help you. But at the same time, it's not to be able to enable laziness. It's
Right.
not there to your family's not there to be able to allow you just, lax off and just do things when you want to.
Yeah.
That's a safety net, but it's one that becomes a crutch.
Yeah.
And I know that personally because for me, I've always known that I can call on my family.
Yeah.
I've always known that at the end of the day, if I don't got it, my dad gonna throw some money in my account.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That used to happen all the time in college, bro. I would have no money, and just for some reason, I would check that account before I was about to go get something to eat. I'm hungry. I got no money. There was $50 sitting in there because my dad had transferred some money over. I don't come from a wealthy family or anything like that, but my parents prioritized that.
Yeah.
And it's funny because at a certain point, I had to get to a point where I told Dad, hey man, let's go up to the bank and get you off that account.
Mm.
Right? There was a time where that had happened. And my dad didn't fight me on it. He understood. Because as a man, there has to become a time where I take 100% ownership over my finances,
Yeah.
100% ownership over where I'm going in life, 100% accountability of the things that need to be done. And I can't have the safety net of, oh, Pop's going to put some money on it.
Yeah.
No, 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 no. I got to be able to have the confidence that I can figure this out without going to him.
Yeah.
Right? I can call on him for some wisdom and some support. But Miles, go through your hard times. Let yourself struggle.
Yeah.
Go through some strife and not depend on another person to save you
Yeah.
because you need it. The Bible says that it's good that I be afflicted so that I know your statutes.
100%.
You're not going to know him. You're not going to get close to God if every single time things get tough, you run back home.
Yeah.
You run back to mama. You run back to papa. You run back to your brother, your sister, and you call them up. And this is a message for those people out there that's always being the ones, you ain't working hard. You're not doing the things that you need to do. This ain't for the people that's in hard times. I don't want nobody that I know that didn't ask me for some money to assume it's the wrong way because y'all hard working. I love y'all. But for people who are complacent and you know that you make piss poor decisions every single month that put you in a bad place and then you ask people for money to save you out of them, that's not what your family support is supposed to be used for, and you're using them as a crutch, and you're getting in the way of your own growth.
Yeah.
So I just that's what I want to say on that.
100%. And for the men that's out there, you rob yourself of having that dog in you
Oh,
whenever you use your family as a crutch. Right? And I remember making my journey to Houston. Right before I left, I told you before, I had $1,200 to my name. Right? I owed my apartment complex $875. I paid $175 in gas on the way. I bought food while I was on the way. When I got there, I bought a blower mattress and I bought a couple snacks and some household essentials. I had $75 left over once I got to Houston. Right before I left, my mama said, "Baby, you good? You got enough money?" I was like, "Yep." My granddaddy said, "RJ, you good? You got enough money?" I said, "Yep." I lied. Why did I lie? Because if I'd have told them I wasn't good, they would have convinced me to stay.
absolutely.
Nothing was going to make me leave. Nothing was going to make me stay in Knoxville, Tennessee. Absolutely nothing. Even when I got to Houston, I wrote in my journal, it's going to happen or it's going to happen. If I fail, I'm going to be homeless, not moving home. And I was like, I would rather, you could call it pride, you can call it ego, but it's that dog. When you have to make it happen, you're going to make it happen.
Yeah.
When you don't have enough money for groceries and you got an Uber account, you're going to drive as many hours as you're going to have to drive.
I tell you,
You know what I'm
boy,
saying?
all the miles I'm putting on my car on DoorDash.
That you gonna make it happen. I remember telling myself I'd never work at a restaurant, but I hit a season that was hard. I had to go work at a restaurant. That built my
God,
connections. I told myself that I would never be a trash man. What I ended up doing, I worked in my apartment complex for 9 months, and I was a trash man. I was picking up dog boo. I was cleaning out the pools. I was emptying out the trash can. I was pushing the dumpsters to the street and pushing them back inside the garage. Like you gotta have that dog in you, and if you don't have that dog in you, that's when you go into them deep depressive episodes because you don't know what's next. That's when you start calling everybody begging for money that you can't pay back. That's when you try to go sleep on your parents' couch. Now, granted, is that wrong to go back to your parents' house? No. If you have a plan, though.
Yeah.
If you have a plan, but as a grown man, there's going to come a time in your life where you're going to have a wife that depends on you. You're going to have kids that depend on you. You're going to have other family members that depend on you. And if every single time somebody depends on you, you go to depend on somebody else that ain't God, you don't got that dog in you, man. You're going to lose trust from your wife. You're going to lose trust from your kids, and they're going to start going to somebody else, and that's the last thing you want.
Rex, boy, man, you said something there. You said, I told myself I'd never work at a restaurant. I told myself I'd never be a garbage man. Boy, how many things we tell ourselves as men we ain't gonna never do.
You end up doing it.
And you end up in a situation where, matter of fact, that's exactly
You
what's
gotta,
saving you.
you gotta eat it, bro.
It's the thing that's keeping you with them lights on. It's the very thing that you need, bro. I had to lower my price so many times when I decided to move back home to Houston, bro.
Yep.
When I said, bro, I'm leaping and I'm leaving everything behind. I thought, oh yeah, the next 6 months, this money gonna be flowing in for speaking. I'll be all right. I got plenty of savings. Nope, didn't happen.
Years later.
Lost all that money.
Yeah.
Got to a point where I'm like, bro, I'm gonna have to work.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta go get a job again. I thought this was it. I'm good. No more 9 to 5. No more corporate America. No more working, bro. I'm gonna be doing work for me.
Yeah.
I'm my own boss.
Over with.
Yeah, all right. That ain't what life had for me right away. That wasn't where my journey was at that
Yeah.
time, right?
Yeah.
I had to go substitute teach, bro. I had to go DoorDash, bro. I told myself after I got my corporate job back in 2020, 2021, I said, I ain't DoorDashing no more. I did that all through college. I put 40,000 extra miles on my car DoorDashing. Like, guess what you got to do every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday? DoorDashing.
100%.
To make a way, man.
Come on now.
To hustle, right? Applying for jobs in a messed up economy, in a messed up job market, but you gotta hustle because I got plans, bro.
Yeah.
And even though business is doing well, I can't take from that.
Yeah.
I gotta let that nest egg build. I gotta be able to use that for business things. So me personally, in my personal life, I got proposals I'm planning. I got wedding that gotta be planned. I got houses that's gotta be bought. I got things that have to be done. I got people depending on me, bro. I got a future that's dependent on me.
Yeah.
So guess what I gotta do? I gotta go hustle. I gotta do some things that, man, my pride told me I never wanted to do and never wanted to go back to, but I gotta hustle, bro.
100%. Ace Hood said it. Mama need a house.
Baby need some shoes.
Time is getting hard. Guess what I'ma do?
Hustle.
No, fact. So that's
Man, I wanna hear your last point, bro.
man. To be honest with you, I'm gonna save that one. Because what I just poured into what you just said kind of piggyback off my last point because ultimately it was environments.
Okay.
Right. Me being in Knoxville, I told myself I wasn't going to stay there. I had to move, and because I moved, and because I put my faith and my trust in God, and I let go of my safety nets, I've been blessed in every situation.
Yeah.
I told myself I wasn't going to work at a restaurant, but the restaurant blessed me because the restaurant introduced me to powerful people, mentors, and the official group that helped me heal better. Working as a trash man for my apartment complex, I was in a season of isolation. Every day before my first 2 hours of my shift, I listened to 2 sermons every day. Right? And that connected me to God. I rebuilt that relationship. Right? When I was doing Uber gave me the opportunity to listen to podcasts. Right? I was listening to podcasts and I was meeting different people. And when I dropped certain things off, and also it exposed me to the life that I want to live. I'm driving to all these nice neighborhoods. There's one in the Woodlands called Carlton Woods. Right? The houses start at 1.3 million.
Wow.
So you dropping these things off, and I'm like, God, you ain't exposing me to all this for no reason.
No reason, bro.
Right? So in order for me to get to where I want to go, in order for me to push past where I am now, to get outside of my complacency, get outside of my comfort zone, I got to do things I never thought I was going to do. I got to become a person I didn't think I had the potential to be. And the only way I can do that is if I'm connected to the right person.
That's good. Man, sometimes in order for you to go high, you got to do some things that you think are beneath you.
Yep.
You got to do some things that you feel too good for. You got to do some things that you feel like I've out earned this. I got a college degree.
Yep.
What I'm doing working here.
100%.
But bro, I'm telling you, those moments are going to be the pivotal ones that ignite the fire in you.
Yep.
I don't think you ever have as much hustle as you have when you just got to have it.
Come on now.
When you got to have it, when it ain't no choice, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I also think that's when you get the most signs.
Yep.
I think because what it is when you're in desperation mode, when you're in dog mode, you have tunnel vision on what your goal is, and God can speak to you a lot clearer. Because without you, Lord, I can't make it through. I got this goal. I don't know necessarily how I'm gonna do it, but I know I'm gonna grind to it. But give me your strength, give me your support, and God can show you things. God can put you around certain things because guess what? You're in a place of obedience right now.
Yeah.
Because you're doing the work.
Yeah.
You're doing what needs to be done.
Yep.
When you have it all, it's very easy for you to become God in your own life.
Yep.
It's very easy for you to say, I'm not doing that. I'm too good for that.
Yep.
When God may be sending you to go do some service work for a reason. He may be sending you to take a free opportunity for a reason. It don't matter if you made hundreds of thousands of dollars doing what you do. Don't ever get too good to serve.
Right.
But sometimes we get in our own way, bro, because we feel like we got it all figured out. But when you know you don't have it all figured out,
Yep.
when you know you're trying to figure it out, when you know that I'm doing it the best that I can and my way just ain't good enough, you realize you need God, bro. You realize that I need something stronger than me. I need
Yep.
something that when I'm tired can wake me up. I need something that when I'm losing clarity can point me in the right direction. I need something that can expose me when I have no idea why I'm where I'm at right now.
100%. And that's absolutely amazing. And I think that's a great place to end too.
Me too, bro. Gotta let those safety nets go, y'all.
Yeah.
You got to, bro, because so long as you keep them, you know, so close to your heart and so close to your life, you will always be limited in your growth. You'll always be held back by who you could become. You will always be in a place where I'm gonna go back to who I was because that's more comfortable than the unknown of who I'm going to be.
Absolutely. So for the fellas that are listening and for the women that are listening, hopefully you took heed. Hopefully that you take the opportunity to go check out the verses
Yeah.
that we put out there. Go to Proverbs. I promise you'll learn everything you need to know. But think about all the safety nets that you have in your life: relational, environmental, career, financial. Just think about all the safety nets that you have in life and ask yourself, is this pushing me or is this harming me? Is this holding me back and stopping me from doing what I need to do, what God has called me to do? Or is it the other? So I just want you to think about that. And if you need help navigating that space, you can go to resolvecc.com, book a session with me. But once again, my name is Rex Howard Jr., relationship, marriage, look, I just shot a whole blank. Relationship and sex therapist, personal development coach, podcaster. Um, and I'm here to help you with everything that you need, from relationships to family to trauma to sex issues to intimacy issues to communication issues. And I want to help you become the best version of yourself.
Absolutely, man. I always say that, for my brand, the mantra is change your mind, change your life. And part of that is changing those safety nets and getting rid of them because they're holding you back from the life you want. So if you guys need help with that, go to milesthemillennial.com. That's Miles with a Y. Book a consultation with me. I want to come into your space. I want to come into your corporate office. I want to come into your school. I want to come into your youth organization. I want to come into your college. I don't care where it is, how big the company is or how small, because there is a way that using this purpose that God has put in me to speak life over people is going to be able to change minds and change life, so that way you can get beyond those safety nets and become who you're really supposed to become. Thank you guys so much for your time. We're Let's Talk Like Men, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.